Greetings! It is I, Titus Naravan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire. Welcome. It is time to continue our talking about these anime series I just introduced and telling you how you can use them in your BESM games. So let's start talking about the three I just introduced. We'll start right away. Concrete Revolutio. Now this one I would give between 300 and 500 points. I'm going to be assigning this wide variety of points because it's depending on how powerful you want your superhuman characters to be. Your characters will be superhumans. Now, they could be, of course, robots, aliens, time travelers, just general people with superpowers. They could be supernaturally based ones. They could be yokai, half yokai, magical girls, ghosts. They have such a variety of superhuman and superpowers they could have. You're going to choose between having them in, of course, the first season or the second season sort of time periods. There's a 5-year time skip in it. Now, you could play from one to the other if you really wanted to, that you could play out some adventures in the first one and then skip to the second one later on. Now, if you're in the first one or the second one, either of those, you could be part of the Superhuman Bureau. You can make a character that's a member of it and then do things in relation to controlling superhumans and protecting people. And of course, the adventures themselves will always have this sort of dark undertone to them that maybe they're not doing the right thing. Of course, you could also just focus on doing the 5-year time skip and going to the future, where you're part of the revolution, where you're part of Jiro's sort of revolutionary group, or more revolutionary group. Jiro's is less organized at the beginning of the season and more organized at the end, and they're more for superhuman rights and protecting superhumans from sort of the dark forces within the government. You could focus on a team around that in particular if you really wanted to. So now I'm going to move on to Bakuon. Now this one's a really easy one to play in. It's going to be a lot more slice of life based anime that you can play in. It's going to be 140 points. It's going to include your people's characters and their motorcycle, which they'll be putting together on their own. Now, you're going to focus around your characters being part of the motorcycle club and going on different things. They could go on traveling, they could go with races, they could deal with little school activities that they have to do in relation to the club. They could deal with things with the club, repairing vehicles, that sort of thing. If they're on the road, they could encounter all sort of strange problems. Maybe they have to visit a few different places, do different things like that. That maybe it's a lot of narration and checks and stuff like that, that you can drag out a storyline. That maybe like, oh, they have an encounter with this sort of person here that they might want to talk it out, or they're doing something at this location here, or this sort of thing happens to them along the way that makes it more adventurous for part of the travel parts of it. And of course, again, you can do the parts of school activities part, maybe doing some of the actual school relations between the group of them. It's up to you how much you want to balance the difference between the traveling and the school adventures, but I would base it out of the school, just like the characters in the anime are, and have them part of the club. Now, last one, again, I'm going to talk about is Onigiri. I'm going to have to say, give your characters 300 points. They're going to be pretty powerful, but not going to be ridiculous. Now, what you want to do is you want to focus them to be sort of the girls, or one of the people fighting the Kamikuri. They don't have to be girls. There are male characters that you mention in the series, even in this one. But you can base it either, you can have it very serious, which would be more along the game, which was originally the kind of influence of this series. Or you can keep to the light comedic tones of the anime. And in that retrospect, you're going to have them go on little adventures and deal with some of these like enemies. But if it's serious, then they're actually battling out with the enemies and having real battles. If it's more of the lighthearted tone, they might have little sort of battles out that they only defeat the enemies and drive them away, sort of thing. And I would have them, of course, focus their attacks upon like one type of weapon. Each of the characters sort of has a specialization of a weapon and has abilities based around that weapon. Granted, the abilities might necessarily be some kind of like magic or spiritual energy channeling based around use of that weapon, but that weapon would be the main foci of that sort of attacks. So that's all I wanted to go over today. I just introduced these 3 animes and gave you a little bit of information about using them in your BESM games. Just enough to help you out if you're thinking about using them. If you have questions, comments, anything you want to say, anything you think I forgot, leave it in the comments below. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. It's a great way of showing your support for the channel and the Empire. Please subscribe if you already haven't. We're always looking for more members, more citizens of the Empire. And please share this video if you know anybody that would learn from it or enjoy it. And until the next time, I bid you farewell.